Designers, many of you are at the point where you are interested and active working on your own projects, whether that's in the 3D design and manufacture strand or the workshop or coding. I'd like to point out that you should be, at this point then, very active with your design notebook. This is specifically designed to be useful as a design notebook, as a process of design. So each time that you start a project, at the front, there's a section of pages called Project Proposal. And I've talked a little bit about those. This guides you through thinking the initial steps through what is this project going to be about? What's my goal for the project? The goal shouldn't ever be that I just want to build this cool thing. There should be skills that you're aiming to develop, things that you're aiming to learn how to do as part of building that cool thing. And that would be a skills project. Or that cool thing is going to solve a problem for someone. That would be a design project. And then what is it? What are you going to need? What are you going to learn and use? And then what does it look like? And there's a way to sketch any project, including coding. You can create sketches for coding. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, come ask me. Let's talk about how do you sketch the ideas for a coding project. Later on in the notebook, there are skills projects. The front is just a proposal. It's just here's the project I'd like to do. Before I start, these are my ideas. It's the plan of the project. This section, skills project, walks through questions and planning as you're going through the project to help you get there, to help you learn what you want to learn as part of the project. And a lot of times you guys come ask me questions, and I can tell that you have never looked through your design notebook, because those questions that I ask you in response to where you're at, what do I do next, they might be answered by going through the skills project, thinking through what do you need next. And at the very least, instead of being at the point of where am I? What should I do now? Where do I go next? You would have much more targeted questions to say, I need to do this next because I know I'm at this step and I want to find out the answer to this question or be able to do this thing that I can't do. And I know that because I'm here in the project. These projects are multi-pages long, about 3 or 4 pages each. And each stage in the project also has a little icon to indicate which part of the design cycle is that phase. Where are you when you're answering this question? What part of the design cycle are you thinking in? So they're really useful. Past the skills project, there's a section that has design project outlines. These are even a little more detailed because now you're thinking about an actual solution for someone, maybe you, maybe someone else. And these walk you through how to think that way as a designer. This is exactly the sort of process that a professional designer goes through. And when you get to high school, this is exactly the sort of process you're going to go through to answer these questions and come up with these sorts of sketches and be able to refer back to the notes that you started the project with when you finish the project for evaluating. How do you evaluate well? All of that is built into these projects. So I really encourage you to use your design notebook, work through the process that's in there. And finally, I'd like to point out, to emphasize for you that professional design as a discipline is a human-centered discipline. What we do as designers when we're working in the world is look at problems that people have and try to solve them. There are almost no designers out there who get paid for what they do, who are thinking up cool things to make and then making them. There's entertainers that do that on YouTube. They get paid for entertaining people with the stuff that they make, but they're not designers. That's not the discipline of design. That's making, which is a different thing, and it's a valid thing in itself, but it's not the same thing. Design is deeply human-centered. It's about solving problems that people have. And as a result, when you move further and further into design, you're moving closer and closer to working with people, really understanding them, empathizing with them, and understanding their problem as deeply as you can so that you can solve it. Because many times they can't even express the problem they're really having. They only see the end result. The real problem they might have is much deeper or simpler or different than what they think it is. And when you solve it as a designer and you solve it really well, their experience is, oh, why didn't I think of that? So think about that as a designer. Think about human-centered design and finding problems in the world that you can solve, because there are lots out there and we can make the world a better place.